Priming my face for makeup in the 90s was absolutely non-existent. There's different kinds, keep in mind, for every type of skin. You need to get the proper primer for your face. I'll put this all over my face before I put any of my face products on. It's going to lock everything in, fill in fine lines and wrinkles. It's going to inherit your makeup to your face, so that way it doesn't slide down. But you've got to get the right kind. I'm using the e.l.f. Putty Primer. I like this one a lot. It's got combination skin. It's all pretty dry, moisturized no matter what kind of skin you have. If you have oily skin, you're probably like, I don't need to moisturize, but honestly, your face could be producing more oils because you're not moisturizing, because your skin is like, hey, I'm super dry, this ain't working for me, I'm gonna have to fix it. So it just produces oils and it don't know when to stop. But it is really essential skincare. I cannot tell you enough. I wished I'd have done it all along, but I haven't. I've only been doing it for about 3 years. Now versus 90s. 43 years old, 20 years old, how I would do my makeup, how I did it still until a couple of years ago. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just knew I was doing the same routine as I was when I was 20, and shit didn't look good anymore. I had to figure out what the hell was going on after I got depressed about it for years. Pretty much gave up on it. Seeing all these older, beautiful, mature ladies just looking fabulous. So I dug in to so many tutorials I can't count and learned how to do everything all over again. So you don't have to, and I'm here to teach you. Now that I've got my primer, I'm going to apply my bronzer to my face. Bronzer is going the same places that you would put contour. You're going to darken parts that you want to hide or recede. And anything that you want to stick out and pop out and just be like, pow, you're going to highlight. Get you a little pencil, apply it right above it. That's where your contour or bronzer is going to go. Right above your ear, angled down. Because you're not applying foundation or anything else first, this is great for beginners. This is way more forgiving, the bronzer. I find it just leaves a beautiful glow. You can also take it away if you're like, oh, that's too much or too low. Because you don't have your other products on, you can adjust that if you trust the process. So I've made basically a number 3. On your hairline, you want to stay right here in those areas. Now for the chinny chin chin. And I'm only doing half so you can see today the difference it makes. Contouring my face has changed my makeup world. I am shading this area. That double chin can become a singular again. I know that's dark, but we're going to trust the process because I'm going to amaze you at the end. I tend to do it darker and more bold because we're underpainting, and all this is actually going to look way more natural. You don't have to even blend it as well. That's why it's so beginner friendly. It doesn't have to be perfect. Here's what mine's going to look like, and I'm going to move on nose contour, this angled brush. I'm going to take my bronzer, and I'm only doing half my face. I'm going to go up to my brow and just bring it down under my nose. If you mess up, you can just wipe down. Don't try to overthink it. Don't have to get it all blended in well. Right here, because I want to have a little button nose. Pick at it and get it perfect. You're going to have to do trial and error. It's going to be probably a little frustrating, but if you really want it, you can do it. Here's the placement of everywhere that I contour. And save it for later so you can look back. One of my favorite blushes is the Made by Mitchell Blush Posy Rosy. I've noticed that if I apply it on my hand first, get it all over my brush, using a fluffy brush, kind of a medium size, all over there really good, right above my contour. If you're having a hard time with placing your blush or any product right where you want it to go, get a smaller brush. The smaller the brush, the easier it is for you to put it exactly where you want to. Work smarter, not harder. Tools are everything. How you hold it is everything. The amount of pressure. I'm going to go in here, and ultimately it needs to go right above my bronzer or contour. Just dab that. Watch how beautifully it just applies that blush. Look at that. Just gives it some color. And this is going to be extra too, but I want it to be extra. My foundation goes on top of this. It's not going to be like Padow anymore. I put some right here because I've become obsessed. No other reason. Now you see I've covered up that bronzer. At least it looks like a little bit. It's still there. That blush is just Padow. Okay, if you find that you've got your bronzer a little covered up, take your brush. I've got that other one that's a little bit more dense. Dip it into your bronzer on the corner of your brush, and you can make it more precise again. If you do it on the corner, it's not as many bristles, so then that way you can get more precise with it. Kind of tap it in between, 50-50, so then that way it blends it somewhat, but that's fine. You would say this is unblended, right? And it is, but that's okay, because when we put all of our makeup together, it's going to be gorgeous. Now over here on this side of my face, I haven't done a thing, because this is my 90s look. I wouldn't moisturize it, I wouldn't prime it. I didn't even know face primer existed. Did it back then? A little concealer right here, okay, a little here. I had a really tough time with foundations, and I think a lot of it was because I didn't do my skincare. I applied it directly on my face, a lot more on than I do now. I used to literally just use my hands. I'd put it on my lips. I'm not sure why. It'd be all patchy and stuff at this point in my life because my face got super dry. And I wasn't moisturizing, so that made it look way worse. You see, it does have good coverage. Ready for me to add foundation to this side the way that I do it now. Clean brushes also make a difference. I do not reuse my brushes maybe one time. Germs and bacteria, trust me, you want to clean your brushes. I'm going to warm it up. I've learned this about my products. I'm still not doing it to all of them, but I do find it's better. So I put the foundation on the palm of my hand. This is the funnest part. Starting with my skin where it doesn't have the contour, and I'm going to work it over here over the contour, just barely, very lightly. Here on my hairline. Tap it is all I'm doing. Now you already see the difference. We've got some dimension in there. We're just going to start really coming together here in about 3 seconds. I don't think you're ready. I'll start there in the light part. Now I'm going to lightly tap. I want to keep it where you can see underneath, not over tap right here. Look at that. And I'm literally going to take it and put a little layer over the whole entire thing. Keep foundation on your brush, but you want to keep it even. There's what my brush looks like. Good quality. And then you go to the corners. Then you go 50-50 across on top of the other colors, and that blends them. Without adding any more product on my brush, now I'm going to work right here. I'm going to take the product that's already there and work it up. Just tapping it. Take this larger, flat but fluffy foundation brush. My Maybelline Fit Me pressed powder to set any areas underneath. It's also going to control anywhere where your face is oily. Right here. Because I don't want those oils to come out of my face. Plus, it's pulling this color even more together. I don't really put hardly anything underneath my eyes. You don't have to apply it everywhere. Anywhere you put it is going to lock in those colors. If you tap it 50-50 on the different colors, it'll make it look even more blended. Still got color, but it's not in like, whoa. See how that's up and that's down? 1990s and now, completely different. All I've got is foundation on over there. You don't have to pick up any more, and I just put like a little thin layer over all of it, just to set it in. I do not use anything besides this Revolution Conceal and Define. It's a foundation and a concealer in one, and I find that it works perfectly good for me. Another one of my favorite obsessions, my highlight. Above my cheekbone where I want it to pop, right here. Above and below that little slope. That slope you want to keep dark because you want to keep it shadowed. Put it right here. Setting spray. But this is going to just seal everything in and just give it an overall glow. It's just on top. And you still see I got 2 chins. It didn't go anywhere. But yet, look. Oh, see how it gives it a nice glow. In the 90s, I think I only had 1 or 2 kinds of eye brushes. I didn't know about different kinds. So I use the same one. I'm going to start with a dark brown. How I didn't prime. I would always apply makeup looking like this because I'm like, well, I can't see it otherwise, right? So I would take it and it would go on my lower lid, wipe it in place with my finger. I didn't know blending was even a thing. All that I would do, I'm like, oh wow, that's a good bit. And I put my eye up and it would disappear. with my lid. I've got hooded eyes. A way to counteract that is a way more fluffier brush. I'll start with the transition color, about a shade darker than your skin. Pop it all over my lid. Placement is everything. It needs to go up high, really high, because we are ultimately going to create an illusion that this is not so, meh. Every little thing makes a big difference. Cross, straight, the whole thing. I use the same darker color. This one, it's got a little bit of fluff to it, so it can still move everything around, but it's also a bit smaller and precise. I'm going to keep my eye open, dab that in the corner, tap right here where the two colors meet, and sew them together. Bring it up. I'm not adding, I'm just scooting it around. I'm going to bring that color in a little, the darker one. I'm going to tap lighter each time I go in, like lighter and lighter, so then it fades it in. And I also have primer there too, so it's going to keep that color there all day. It's not going to crease and it's not going to slide off. That is just an illusion. Isn't that amazing? We're hiding that hood. Now over here, I put a light shimmer over the rest of that because I thought it was okay. Nobody gave me the memo. Bless my soul. It looks worse now because I'm older and I got crinkles. But that is what I did. I would also darken this side. You can use a shimmer. We just have to place them a little different. Like with my finger, I tap it exactly where I want it. I want deliberate taps. Stay away from your hood. Bring it up over your crease a little bit. You can have shimmer. Placement is absolutely everything. Take a white eye pencil, and I'm going to brighten that puppy. I want it to be even more open. I tap everything. I want to move the product, but I don't want to move it away. I want to keep it where it is. The colors meet, tap it together, and you can even bring one of the colors over. Like if I'm bringing this light color over there, you just ever so lightly on the inner waterline. Take that white pencil. I use it as a highlight. I place it up here. Just take my little pinky and barely tap it into the other one. Give it just a little pop of some, like, hey, look at that. Makes it more stick out than this. It's all an illusion. If you have a neutral tone color, more like your skin color, take you some on the brush, blow off the excess and tap it, or tap it right here on the top underneath your little eye. And if you want to make things blend even more, take just a itty bitty bit of that brown and place it right here, kind of on the corner, with a little smudgy brush. See, I'm using different brushes too because it's so important. I would take it all the way to the end. I would do that, and it just keeps getting better, doesn't it? I put it on once. I never did know about the put it on 3 times and let it dry in between kind of thing. Didn't have fake lashes. Can't really even see it. Take my time. Mascara is so much better now anyway, but you can already see it. I sabotaged myself. I didn't even wear blush. Like, what you're seeing is what you get. I did not wear blush even. Look how much of a difference. I'm going to use brown lip liner. Staying in the lines. Mauve color. And put that on the inside. I remember it was not very blended. We're going to overline our lips, going right above my lip line everywhere I go. Red matte lipstick all the way pretty much over my liner. I just use the liner as a guide. It's a huge difference, right? How I did my makeup back in the 90s. Look, it's already transferring that black up there. Same exact shimmer right here as it is here. Look at that. The placement is absolutely everything. I overline my lips, highlight, contour, underpainting my face. Over here, just foundation because I didn't even use blush, but all my choices were back then is blush and foundation and powder. Placement, what you use, how you use it, tools, Make sure your tools are clean. Makes a huge difference. Little subtle changes make everything just looks, ugh. And that looks so much more lifted. It doesn't drag my face down my eye. I think it looks way more open. The hood is not like Pacquiao. Hey, look at that hood. It looks more puffy right here, but it's the exact same. It's the illusion.